An average workday. Like, what in an average workday is worthy work? When it comes to the life that we have as we get older, it's like, how do we make sure that we make the most of every opportunity that we have? And I was thinking a little bit about one of my favorite Bible verses, which actually comes from a surprising place. It comes from the book of Ecclesiastes. In the book of Ecclesiastes, it talks about that the joy of life, that basically the reward of life is a job well done. It's just knowing that you made the most of your day, that you did a good job. And a lot of times the work that we do isn't really glamorous. Like, even if you're an entrepreneur like me, you've been running your own company for 11 years, done millions of dollars online, published over 100 books, there's still something about feeling like on an average Thursday, like, is it even worth it? Is the work that I'm doing even something that's important? And so whether you're in corporate, whether you're working for yourself, like wherever you are in life, I wanted to make this video to encourage you about the daily work that you're doing. See, the daily work that you're doing is worth it. And it's all a matter of shifting your perspective. One of my mentors would say, stop shopping for lightning bolts. Like, there are not these huge revelations that you have every single day of your life. Like, most of the joy of life and the joy of work is actually just doing the work, like doing the work that's right in front of you. This is from my grandpa's Bible. My grandfather passed away in the year 2000, so quite a long time ago. In Ecclesiastes 4, verse 22, it says, "Wherefore I perceive that there is nothing better than that a man should rejoice in his own works, for that is his portion. For who shall bring him to see what shall be after him?" That's it. That is your portion. Your portion of the table, like the infinite feast of what God has put in front of all humanity to dine and to delight in. Your portion, what's on your plate, is rejoicing in your work. The works that you do is what you rejoice in. It's your portion, and it's enough. It is enough for you. It's not everyone's portion, it's your portion. So if you think about what that means for you in your life right now, you take your work that you're to do today and you focus. You follow one course until success. You focus on getting that work done, and that's enough. Like, that is the answer. Work is the answer. If you think about Solomon, who had everything, right? He followed up King David, and God met him in a dream and said, "What is it that you want?" And he could have asked for riches. He could have asked for power. He could have asked for, like, whatever his vice was. But instead what he asked for is wisdom. And so the guy who asked God for wisdom, and then God granted all the other things too, he's the one that wrote Proverbs, and then also Ecclesiastes and Song of Solomon. So Ecclesiastes is one of my favorite books in the Bible because it talks about the struggle of a creative and the struggle of an entrepreneur, the struggle of a king, the struggle of someone who wants to make a difference with their life. And that's you. You're watching this video because you want to make a difference in your life. You want to make the most with the opportunity that you have. So what's the answer? The answer is to focus on the work in front of you, to be faithful with what you've been given, to make the most of every opportunity. So what I want to do is I want to show you some really practical ways that I try to do this every single day. My name is Brian Dixon. I'm the founder of Hope Books, where we help women write their story and publish their book. And when I was 18 years old, I was in a life-changing car accident. I was T-boned by a car going highway speed, and 3 doctors told me I'd never walk again, but I literally almost died in this car accident. And the result, the long-term result, almost 30 years later of that car accident, is that I wake up every day with a sense of urgency, wanting to make the most of every day, because I literally experienced my last day. And so then the next day could be the last day, the next day could be the last day, and then 30 years later, there's this sense of urgency of appreciation, of wanting to make the most of the opportunity in front of me. And so there's 3 things I want to share with you in this video that have really helped me experience the joy of life. The joy of life is a job well done. The portion that you're given in life is rejoicing in the work that's right in front of you. Ecclesiastes 4:22. So there's 3 things that I do every single day. The first thing that I do every single day is to build and follow a routine. Routines are the answer to productivity and making the most of every day. Having clear systems. In fact, this year, our company theme is systems because we want to make sure that everything that we're doing is the most efficient, the most productive, the most consistent, because consistency builds expectation, and consistency leads to quality. Consistency leads to people knowing that they're valued, feeling seen, feeling appreciated, because when people have an expectation that's met or even exceeded, it builds relationship. But when people have an expectation that is not seen, not valued, not appreciated, not met, there's animosity that builds. See, disappointment is simply the gap between your expectation and your experience. That's where there's disappointment. But there's joy and opportunity and trust and value and even love that comes from expectations and then reality, and the reality being better than the expectation. And the way to do that is to have consistency. And there's nothing like a good routine that builds consistency. There's a few books I've read on building your perfect day, building your morning routine, building the kind of life that you want. One of them is Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. Another one is Michael Hyatt and Daniel Harkavy's book called Living Forward. I love that one. And another one is called Own the Day, Own Your Life by Aubrey Marcus. Those are 3 books that I highly recommend that are really helpful in visioning your life, thinking about your ideal week, thinking about your ideal day, thinking about your ideal morning routine. And you begin with the end in mind by saying, this is the perfect morning of exactly what I would love to build out, and then you actually follow it. So for example, I know that I feel better, I look better, I live better, I love better when I'm feeling fit. And the way to do that is to have a very clear fitness routine. Now, what I've discovered is that the harder the routine, the less likely I am to do it. So the answer is to have a very easy routine. Build your ideal day and make it easy. The way to make your ideal day easy is to build consistent systems. James Clear in Atomic Habits calls this habit stacking, that you can compound habits by putting them together. So basically, okay, when I wake up, I'm gonna do this, then I'm gonna do this, then I'm gonna do this, and you make it automatic. I like to say automagic because it happens on routine. And once you build that routine and follow that routine, it's going to be your new normal. It's gonna feel normal. And once it's normal, that is gravity for you. You're building the gravity in your life. Your routine is your gravity. It's your level setting. It's what you do every single day. And when you set a high standard and say, this is the routine that I'm gonna build and follow to reach that standard on a regular basis, then every day is a joy because you know that you are doing the work that's right in front of you and rejoicing in the portion of being faithful in doing that work well. And so the first key is a daily routine. Now, the second key to doing a good job, to making the most of every day and to having consistency in your life is your project management system. To have a place for you to capture your ideas, for you to document your work, for you to assign things to people, for you to receive projects and tasks that you need to complete, and then having your list of exactly what you need to do for that day. Now for me, I use 2 tools. So I use ClickUp as my brain, as my second brain. This is my operating system for my life and for our company. We use it both in personal life and in our company, we use ClickUp. But what I've discovered recently is that you can use AI. I happen to use Claude, and I've connected Claude and ClickUp together. So I can take out my phone, open up Claude, and tell it, add this to my ClickUp, and it'll automatically do that. So as I'm driving and I'm like, oh, I've got to do this thing today. I've got to follow up with that person. I've got to send an email. I've got to finish this project. I will tell that to Claude, and then Claude will go ahead and put that inside of the right space, folder, list, and create the task inside of ClickUp. So then I open up ClickUp and I just go to my work and I click on my work and I see my day. I see it all scheduled out and I know exactly what I need to do to win that day. And the third step, the third thing that I do to make sure I'm making the most of every opportunity to really make sure that my day is successful and that I'm experiencing that joy of life by knowing I did a job well done is reflection. When I did my doctoral degree in education, I focused on metacognition. Metacognition is the awareness of our own learning, our reflecting on our own learning. There's something really powerful about the process of reflection. So when we experience life, it's not just what we experience, but it's thinking about what we've experienced. It's processing what we've experienced. And the best way to do that is to document it, to actually create content. Creating content is one of the most valuable things you can do for your own personal growth. Getting out of your head, out of your heart, and sharing it on the screen, even if nobody watches it. In fact, my doctoral dissertation, I studied students creating reflective video journals, okay? It's another way for saying a vlog. They were vlogging, they were creating video journals about their own learning and their own life. And what I measured is their metacognitive levels. In other words, how aware are they of what they're learning and how they're growing? And the way to do that is to actually talk it out and to create that content. You don't have to post that content, but when you do, it can actually bless someone else, which Solomon did. He did. He wrote it down. Another example is Marcus Aurelius, the emperor of Rome. Like, think about it. He wrote his own meditations, his own journal, and then never shared it publicly while he was alive. But the ripple effect of him writing down his own meditations has impacted generations. Another favorite book is the autobiography of Benjamin Franklin. He wrote down his story. When you write your story by creating content, by clicking add to story and sharing your story for the day, it increases your portion, because not only did you eat it, well, that was delicious, I did a job well done, but I shared it with someone else. The analogy obviously breaks down there, but imagine you eat your portion and then you share your portion with someone else who can then share it with somebody else who can share it with somebody else. And the coolest thing about that is it's absolute abundance. When you share something valuable, hey, I learned this thing, and you put it, you get brave, you take your courage and you encourage someone else with what you've learned, and they watch it and share it and watch it and share it and watch it and share it. The ripple effect is nearly infinite. You just never know what God will do with your story, but you need to share it. And so, number one, having a daily routine, having a weekly routine can be so powerful to make the most of the opportunity that you have. Number two, having a clear project management system where you're tracking your projects, you're capturing your ideas, you're able to assign and be assigned tasks. You have a clear organizational structure. And then number three, document as you live. Your life is a testimony of God's goodness and grace in your life. But if you never hit record, you never write it down, you never publish it, then your story goes to the grave, still in your heart. And what a tragedy. It's a tragedy to never share the reason for the hope that you have. Because there are people right now who need to hear your story. So even if it's something as simple as just hitting record and talking to the camera for a little bit, it can make a huge difference. I'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment. How has this helped you? And what can you do to share your story today?